Welcome home, Raiders! This week, normals have been nerfed. Everyone, get out your pitchforks, let's go! Plus, all of the BattleNet news and so much more. This is Convert to Raid number 196.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft. Power Station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is Rocktober 6th, 2015. It is now 9:10 in the PM Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I am the host of this ding-dang show. I'm also known as Zug around Airy Peak. And as always, the players are here. Let's start off with our good buddy, our good friend, whose video is a little weird, so I'm going to just fix it real quick. And it's Darius.
Do we want to? I mean, it's a bit presumptuous to assume we're friends.
Well, we've been friends. I don't know if I don't know if we still are. We've been friends.
We know each other.
Is
from
there
the
something
internet.
that you want to tell me?
We'll go with that.
All right. Well, to another acquaintance then. Screw you, buddy. And we'll go to from LOS Gaming. You know him as one of the duo, Tovo, and of course, Tattva. Hey, Tattva.
Hey, what's up? An acquaintance? That's all I get?
Well, Darius started it off.
Okay.
I like to think of you as more than that, but Darius has other plans, I guess. But we'll go to our other good friend. How's that? Good friend. Everybody's good friends. From the Asparagus Initiative and Adults with Jobs, it's Sharku!
I love how I'm the good friend. Darius is an acquaintance. Well,
Tattva's an acquaintance. You're a good friend. Darius was going to be a good friend, and then he said no.
He rejected you, and I feel like that was pretty
He did it, threw it off right in the beginning.
I believe
thought it would be better if I did it in public. Right.
Absolutely.
When in doubt, just do it in public.
I'm terrified that I ruined your opening because I was warming up and I was doing my lip trills. I was going before everything started going. I was like, nope, yep, that's going to be on the recording. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you hear me go
right
for the show, I was warming up. I promise. It wasn't anything else.
It's all good, buddy. It's all good.
We watched you take your shirt off earlier.
You've got the...
yeah, you guys got to be here for the live show because it is a show.
That bummer crack.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, you got those actor's chops, so you got to make sure that you keep,
yeah,
do the thing.
Yep,
right.
Gotta get it done.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, hello, fellas. Nice to see you guys again here on the show. It's so amazing. And for those guys that don't know, we have a bit of a co-host situation where we have, there's Darius and myself, of course. And we wanted to have all of our friends join us. But of course, we can't have them all on at the same time because Skype is weird and evil and stuff.
We just don't have enough blocks. We have 4 blocks.
We have 4. Yeah. We have 4 squares. That's it. So we had to limit ourselves, and so we bring our friends on every week, and it's different friends all the time. And this week it's Tattva and Sharku, but it could be Tovo from LOS Gaming, or it could be Mick Montgomery from many different podcasts. It could be Gizmo from Lords of the Storm podcast, and
not Gizmo.
Yeah, that Gizmo. That Gizmo. But this week we are fortunate enough to have Tattva and Shark with us. So welcome, fellas, as always. And I just want to kind of do the rounds here and see what's going on and see what you've been up to over the last couple of weeks, because we didn't have a show last week because there was painfully very little news for WoW. And so let's start with Darius. Darius, what have you been up to over the last couple of weeks? How is Convert to Mythic doing?
We are still looking for people, like everyone else. So there's that. We're still trying to progress. We're getting, I think, pretty close on council. We might even have that this week. As for me, I've been leveling my Wildstar. That's a tune, right?
Your Wildstar?
Yeah. So I've been playing that.
Sure.
My Wildstar tune.
Yeah.
Because I just need something new right now. Legion is so far away.
It's very far away. You're right. It is. So how's Wildstar?
It's good. I appreciate if you didn't tell anybody I've been playing Wildstar though. Like,
well, I meant your character Wildstar, of course.
Yes. It's,
your character Wildstar. How's your character Wildstar doing?
It's a lot like WoW.
Also a priest, I'm guessing.
It's definitely a healer. But it's I mean, it's good to just do something new right now because it's just, man, I'm getting kind of sick of these 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you look over the last 2 years, right? When you look over the last 2 years, because Siege of Orgrimmar came out September of 13. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that was a long wait until Warlords, and then now we're in the wait time. We're in the lull period between Warlords and Legion, and so it's been tough over the last couple of years because there's just been a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But I'm excited. I'm excited for BlizzCon, which is in a month.
I know.
So that's good.
So amazing. Are you guys all coming out? Shark, you're coming out, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Tattva, you're coming out.
Yep, we'll be there.
Awesome. And Tovo's coming out from LOS Gaming as well. And we're going to have a good old time. And I know that there's a bunch of stuff going on. There are a bunch of parties. The Thursday night, there's at least a couple of parties in the Hilton. Friday night is the Well Played party. Make sure to stop by the Hilton Ballroom for that one because we'll all be there. That's the plan anyway. You guys better make it to that one. Otherwise, I'm going to...
I think I got plans that night.
What?
I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm busy. There's a bottle of Jack with my name on it.
I was going to go back to Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
After all day Disney, you're going to go back for Disney?
I mean, yeah, you can't really get enough Disney.
I suppose. Let's go around the room again. Tattva, what have you been up to over the last couple of weeks, buddy?
Raiding with Darius, the same thing. Like just basically waiting for him to get home from work. Stuck in traffic all the time. We're just like, there's like 19 of us just sitting there, just waiting.
This is true.
Oh,
this is true.
I like it.
It's raining at 6:30 on a work day, and I live in California. Like, to leave at like noon to get there for 6:30.
Well, that happens. Shark, how about you, buddy? What have you been up to?
If anybody knows about what I've been doing, it hasn't been World of Warcraft for the past few, probably months.
Sure.
I'd get in the game here and there every now and again, but I got in the game. I had to reset my hard drive recently, and I didn't save my WTF file, and everything is gone. Yeah, I was talking to Darius about it. He's like, no, back that up. What's your problem?
Right.
So I got in the game. I'm resetting everything up, and I'm getting ready to start. Our first raid to hardcores is going to go next Saturday.
Awesome.
For our first raid, we're going to get together. We've got a great group of people coming out for casual Sunday or Saturday morning / afternoon raiding, and we're really excited about that. If anybody out there still wants to join, I still got room, especially if you're a healer, or if you want to try healing. Maybe that's a way to kind of deal with this lull that we're dealing with, right? Try something new. It'd be a great opportunity to do that. So check us out to hardcores in the raid builder, or you can tweet at me.
Right on.
Yeah.
And of course, you've probably been doing a little bit of Heroes of the Storm too.
Oh yeah, playing some heroes here and there. I actually jumped into StarCraft today.
Whoa.
Yeah. I decided to bite the bullet and then pre-order Legacy of the Void. Because I really want Artanis in Heroes of the Storm, and I don't want to pay for him. So I can pay $10 when Artanis comes out, or I can pay $40 now and get him for free.
Right?
It makes sense. Anyway.
In a weird way, sure.
But no, I really do love playing through StarCraft campaign stuff. And so now the pre-campaign is out, and when the new game, the expansion comes out, in a month. That'll be a lot of fun to do as well.
Cool.
Speaking of that, I was at TwitchCon.
Oh, that's right.
With Broken Arm Trekkie.
That's right.
And
oh yeah, Trekkie, man. So if anybody knows what's going on with Trekkie, he actually ended up. It's horrible. The whole thing that happened with Trekkie was horrible because he ended up getting mugged in San Francisco, and they broke his wrist.
Yeah,
fractured it. Yeah, and like twisted it in a weird way so that he needs surgery. And it's awful. God. And so thoughts go out to Trekkie, of course, on his recovery. I hope that it's very uneventful, and I hope that it's fast. Those are the two things that I hope for you. So, okay, go ahead, Darius. I'm sorry.
He seemed to be in pretty good spirits at TwitchCon, but it was funny because he's from Europe. So when he went to the hospital, he told them, basically whatever the minimum you have to do to get me set, do that, because I'll deal with everything else when I get home, where it's not really, really expensive.
Right.
But he seemed to be in good spirit. I mean, he got mugged and shook it up by it, but as good as someone can be in that situation to be all right. But Blizzard had a booth there for Legacy of the Void.
Yeah.
And it was empty all the time.
Well, it wasn't empty. I mean, you said that it was like half empty or half full. It depends on if you're an optimist or
compared to the booths next to it. It was empty. Not a whole lot of people playing that game. The talk they gave wasn't very full, and people were leaving it. I'm not sure what's going on with StarCraft.
The booth, just for clarification, the booth was only Legacy of the Void, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, they didn't have anything else going on at the booth.
No, it was just Legacy of the Void.
They put all their money on SC2, and it kind of blew up in their face a little bit.
Yeah, and right next to it, they had Paladins, which is the guys that made Smite. Same guys.
Okay.
Made that, and Paladins is like this. Man, it's a really harsh comparison, but it's basically Overwatch meets Heroes of the Storm. It's it's a first person or third person shooter kind of thing, a la Overwatch, but you're defending or attacking different objective points on the map to then get mobs that help you take down towers that eventually take down a base in the enemy's on the enemy side.
Wow.
It was and that was packed. That was packed full.
I kind of want to play that now. Now that I know what it is, I kind of want to play it because I feel like I know it.
I feel like people looked at that and looked at Legacy of the Void and they were like, "Well, this is basically Overwatch,
right?" And
that's a game that's 10 years old now or something like that. I'm gonna go with the Overwatch game.
How long has SC2 been out?
Came out in 2009?
Was it that? Was it?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah, something like that.
I
was
see
living
that.
in South Carolina at the time, so it was a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was in Virginia.
Wow.
So because I remember where I was when I started playing that game. That's
2010.
Was it 2010? Okay.
July 27th.
Yeah. I was in grad school. It was during Wrath of the Lich King, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. It was.
There you go.
Wow.
There we go.
Anyway, I went off on a tangent. I don't remember why I went.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Fellas, to bring it back, just want to say something that Derry said earlier. BlizzCon is only 1 month away. Yeah! Oh my gosh. I am so psyched for BlizzCon.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. And this weekend we saw a couple of different championships going on, or I'm sorry, a couple of different Road to BlizzCons going on. We saw one, the European Road to BlizzCon was happening in Prague, and we had the Asian Pacific Finals in Taipei. And it was really weird for me because Lore and Olivia Grace, those guys I know I've podcasted with, and they're friends of mine. And they were on different continents, and neither one of them was the U.S. so Laura was in Prague, and Olivia was in China, and it was just amazing to watch all this stuff. I don't know how much of this stuff you guys caught. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of conflicting schedules and stuff like that going on with these different things. But did you guys check out the European stuff at all? Let me start with Shark. I'm guessing you probably saw all of the hot stuff. Am I right?
I didn't. No,
No!
I wasn't able to watch it. I know. I wanted to. I'm still watching through the VODs. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be. I just can't wait to get to BlizzCon and watch these teams battle it out, because there's so many cool things that happen when you get different metas from all over the world together. Look at what happened. What was the big when Tempo Storm, who had been just steamrolling everyone they played, they were undefeated and all these sorts of things, and then they ended up playing
Cloud9,
the Korean team. No, the Korean team.
Oh, I don't have that in my database.
I cannot remember exactly their names are. It's at the tip of my tongue, and I just can't remember the name. But yeah, and then they just wiped from them because it was a meta they'd never played for or played against or thought about. Not necessarily because they were better players, but because they stumped them.
Sure.
I mean, it's going to be really, really great. Anybody, I mean, it's completely up in the air. Those are going to be the best teams in the world. And it's going to be about strategy and about keeping your head and playing through the games. I'm really excited about it.
Right on. Darius, did you watch any of this stuff?
I did not watch any of this.
What?
I did not.
How could you not?
I was away, so
Oh,
I was traveling, so I didn't see it.
Where were you traveling from?
I went to Seattle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. No, that's all right. That's all right.
was busy
You and your
watching
Seattle
soccer
friends
hiking up
watching
mountains.
soccer instead of watching esports like a true gentleman. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Sports nerd.
Tattva, did you watch any of it, or am I by myself where I say that I watched a lot of this stuff?
No, your final choice is apparently the right choice. Yeah,
Yes!
I watched it. I'm a
Yes, wait, hold on a sec. I have big applause for Tattva.
Yeah, I'm a Navi fanboy, definitely.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Big Navi
no, they're
fan?
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
They-
yeah. Well, no, I hadn't heard of them before that, but yeah,
Right.
they sold me.
Right. I was
They're
actually hoping that Team Rocket would be like in the finals at least, because something about just Team Rocket just really, I don't know, it gets me going. I'm like, yes, firepower. It sounds like firepower, even though they spell it a little weird, but whatever. So what did you think about? What did you think about this
that final match?
Oh, dude, let me tell you, Dignitas got their butts handed to them.
I mean, because that's the cool thing is like, I mean, I've played a lot of MOBAs. Like, I really enjoy Smite. I played a lot of League back in the day. Playing a lot of Heroes now, but and Sharku can basically back me up on this. I hate metas. Like, I hate them so badly. Like, if there's any way I can like go against it or break it or like play Teemo nonstop all the time, just whatever, just to make people mad, or not to make people mad, but just to throw a kink in everyone's works. I don't know. And it seems like Navi are, they're after my same heart.
Well, and that
basically.
last match they played like this Abathur thing where
it was
they
100%.
They had a 0 warrior comp and they were just going for it, and they had the Butcher as like the big DPS on that, and it just ended up working for them. So it was great.
It was awesome.
It was they crushed on that whole thing. They didn't drop a match. They didn't drop a map. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things where Navi just really dominated the competition. And from my perspective, over the weekend, as far as Heroes of the Storm stuff, we saw the Americas stuff going on, and I was like riveted. I was watching pretty much on and off throughout the entire weekend. And then for the European stuff, I was like watching, and then I would go, all right, well, that game was pretty much kind of, okay, let's do the objectives and let's do this thing. And it didn't seem to be like really fascinating to me, other than the Navi stuff was cool because they just dominated everything. But do you guys think that the Europeans will actually stand a chance against Cloud9 and those guys? I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean,
why do you say that?
Just because, well, first of all, the kind of stuff, the kind of thought and strat that went into the different comps that Navi was doing. Like, I remember now, I was talking to a buddy of mine about that last comp with no warriors. The Butcher would go down and slam a post down. Falstad would use his ability to blow everyone else away.
That was cool.
And then they could just kill that one guy. automatic power play, and that's how you do it. You don't need to worry about a warrior, and or they were thinking outside of the box to get these sort of things happening, and that's what's going to, like I was saying before, really affect those finals, because people aren't going to be used to the different metas. There's going to be different parts of the world, different servers that have been playing against each other and not against everyone else. They can do all the research they want, but things like that are going to come out. And I don't know. I just think it's anybody's game. It's anybody's tournament. And I'm really proud of Cloud9 for winning, but I had Tempo Storm the whole way. I really thought Tempo Storm was going to take it. And Cloud9 showed up, and man.
But the Tempo Storm Cloud9 thing, that was something that everybody was expecting, and it was a big blowout, and it lasted for 5 maps, and it was just really incredible to see that back and forth that those guys had. With Na'Vi, they dominated like every single time, and it just was like, okay, maybe it took the wind out of my sails a little bit. Watching
I understand. Yeah.
Just because, you don't want to watch a blow away game of any sort.
You want to watch a good
You want to watch a good, tight game, and it just didn't seem like the Europeans had it, so it just kind of makes me a little concerned. Not really for BlizzCon, because that's going to be fun no matter what.
Yeah.
But just kind of makes me think that the matches might be kind of a blowout between America and Europe, or I don't know, even China or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's the American matches just blew me away as far as I'm concerned. So,
that's the thing though. Is like Na'Vi, the reason why they were able to blow out people, it's because they brought something completely new, unexpected, and were able to. People weren't prepared for it. There's the meta that like right. You're talking about, like double warrior, triple warrior, whatever, and that's what creates a good match, is these two teams trying to create similar comps and then basically just bashing their heads into each other. But you take a wild card like Na'Vi, or some unknown team comes in and just like has this like weird master plan to basically take down the 2 warrior, 3 warrior comps, and then they pull it out, and nobody's ready for it. And so I don't know, anyone has a chance, but like moving forward, like these teams are going to get to know each other more and more and more, and that's when the matches are going to get like even better, because Cloud9 will know Na'Vi, who, what champions they like to play, the bans will change. Yep. I don't know. It's just going to get more and more interesting as the seasons progress.
Well, I'm waiting for it, man. I'm excited for it. So that's good. And
I finally remembered that Korean team I was talking about when I played them. It's MVP Black.
Okay.
MVP Black. Correction.
I also watched some of the Asia Pacific Hearthstone stuff, and also some of the Heroes of the Storm stuff. So I'm gonna just want to talk about just this real quick, because I know that we're supposed to be a WoW show. We've been talking a lot about esports so far, and we will continue to talk about esports probably for the majority of the show, because there's, again, very little WoW news. But we'll get to that in a moment. I swear we will. But I just wanted to say one thing. I watched the Heroes of the Storm stuff on Blizzard ZHTW, and it is, I don't know what language they speak, but if you've ever watched Heroes of the Storm, anything in a foreign language that you don't understand, let me tell you, that'll throw you out. It will throw you out. But thankfully they did stream the Hearthstone stuff in English on Hearthstone SEA over on Twitch, and so I was able to watch some of that and watch the finals. And Kranich beat Kano in this nail biter with bomb bots, and it was just incredible. So if you want to go check it out over there. And that's all I really want to say about it. But this whole weekend and the weekend before and kind of the lead up to BlizzCon kind of has been this esports phenomenon for Blizzard, right? So Darius, what I want to talk to you about real quick is, what do you think the future is for esports for Blizzard? Is this just a taste of what the future has in store for these guys?
Yeah, I think they're gonna, these guys and Valve and Riot and all those guys are gonna keep throwing money at this and throwing, support behind it in order to try to make this thing grow. We saw, years and years ago, there was a big community around Counter-Strike and first-person shooters and trying to make that a big thing, but there wasn't the money that they've got now that they can throw at these things and just make them happen. So I think we're seeing the tipping point. I think we're about to pass that, where we've thrown enough money at it. It's got enough talk. People start taking it seriously. I mean, we've seen it on ESPN. We've seen it on traditional sports websites talking about them as if they were sports, and for all intents and purposes, they are. So
sure.
I think this is good, and I don't think this is the end of it. I think it's gonna get crazier from here.
Well, that's better than bowling. That's for sure.
Is it?
My opinion. That's my opinion, of course. Shark, so what do you think that Blizz needs to do to step it up? I mean, because we've seen LOL, some of the prizes have been amazing with LOL, and so far maybe a little bit underwhelming as far as prize money goes. But of course, this is their first year; they don't want to bite off more than they can chew, all that kind of stuff. And I think that Kim Fan has been saying that the esports senior blah 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 whatever. She's been saying all sorts of stuff like that. But what do you think Blizzard needs to do to step it up a little bit?
Well, obviously, I think they've been dipping their toes in the water of the esports world. They've said repeatedly, Team 5 all the time talks about how they really never thought Hearthstone was going to be as big as it was. Mm-hmm. It was a good idea they thought they had, and they ran with it because the game was really, really fun when they were playing it internally. And now it's just this huge esports monster. I mean, arguably, probably the biggest esport that Blizzard has to offer right now, except for StarCraft. It's already been entrenched and is so popular, especially in Korea and stuff like that. But I think bringing all of their games into more of the esports world, what they can do definitely at some point is kind of to dive in the pool and be able to put this big money on the line. Because the more risk, more reward, right? The more money on the line, the more people are going to be interested, I think, in watching that. But there's a big balance there, and I'm pretty sure that team knows what they're doing. And they're playing a little cautious right now. I think if they're a little bit more risky, put more money on the line, find a way to raise that money, find different sponsors, maybe even. I think that could be really, really interesting. But what they're doing so far, I'm interested. I've never watched esports before at all, and I find myself watching these things, rewatching the VODs when I can't watch them live.
Who else can say the same thing as Shark just said? Where before this year they weren't watching esports, and this year they've been watching esports. Who here can say that same thing? Because I know that I can.
No, me and Zug. We're the only ones.
Just you and me. Half the show. Were you guys watching LOL before or what? Tattva, what were you watching before as far as esports go?
Yeah, mainly League, I think. I used to play like quite a bit of StarCraft too, so I'd watch that as well.
Oh, sure.
But even back in the Halo days, like I was that was a long time ago, but yeah, I've been watching esports for a long time.
Cool.
Like just the competitor nature of gaming is
right.
That's what draws me anyways. So
right. I guess I'd have been watching esports in a way because World of Warcraft stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that's not really esport. That's just watching PvE on a lot of different levels. I figured that I watched some PvP stuff, but at the same time,
Yeah, you follow the world first race, but it's not the same thing. Even at BlizzCon, people are saying the thing you have to do at BlizzCon is go to the StarCraft 2 finals. Just to see the crowd, just to be part of it. It's such a big deal. And I just never did. It never drew my interest. But once I got into the games, I don't know. Blizzard's done something. They've put something in the Kool-Aid.
Everything's in the water. We can check that one out.
So much fun. So I'm loving it. I'm loving what they're doing.
Cool. And we do have a question from somebody. It says, "Hey guys, love the show. I've been listening to about 4 months now, and every show is exciting, interesting, informative, and fun." Thank you.
Whoa.
Baconi. Shaman on Eldrithalis. I don't know how to pronounce that. All right. The last few shows, y'all have been talking about a lot about esports for Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, and other amazing Blizzard games. I don't have cable for TV watching, but I have dang good internet. So he says, where you all going to watch the esports? I'd like to start watching them in my spare time. I have. Thanks for y'all's time and energy in the show. Keep doing what y'all are doing because it's working. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the question. And Tattva, how do you follow esports? What do you do to find out what's going on in the world of esports?
Well, I mean, Twitter is a huge thing. Like, people are always going to be posting. Like, I mean, even if you follow a minimal amount of people, like, that stuff spreads. Like, most people will have heard of the Heroes of the Storm tournament. You know, there's the tournament this past weekend through that. Just people resharing and resharing. But I mean, if you want to just like just dive in and maybe find one, just go to twitch.tv. Mm-hmm. And then on that front page, if there's like a ridiculous amount of people watching a particular game, there's a tournament going on in that game. So, I mean, there's more specific ways. Like, all games will have a Twitter account and they'll post their schedules and stuff. So, I mean, just get involved in Twitter would probably be my
Twitter and Twitch.
Twitter and Twitch.
Anything else from the other monkeys of the show? I think that sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I would say definitely twitch.tv. Get on twitch.tv. You can even search it by category of games that you're interested in. Mm-hmm. You can have favorite games and just be like, I want to watch some Heroes. I want to watch some Dota. Mm-hmm. And you can see what the popular streamers, it might not even be a competition. It might just be streamers playing and competitively, or even doing VODs on how to play, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Twitch.tv is definitely something you want to check out.
Cool. Anything else, Darius?
I would say YouTube gaming. Twitch.tv is so dead. YouTube gaming, YouTube live streaming. That's where it's at.
Right. Well, we did, and just to prove that, yes, that's wonderful ways to follow esports, and it's been a wonderful weekend as far as esports goes, but we do have much more than esports to cover on today's show, and we have much more than esports on this show because we've also got this. Pumpkin spice. That's right. It's October, so of course we have pumpkin spice. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
It was either that or we have 1 month left for BlizzCon. So that must mean that this month is
That was totally
either way. I thought it would be really grand to share that with everybody.
Jump on that pumpkin spice.
That's right.
Bandwagon.
That's right. Did you hear that pumpkin spice latte has his own Twitter account? It's horrible.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You know how much pumpkin is in the pumpkin spice latte?
Why do I do this?
Very little.
0% of pumpkin. Of pumpkin.
All right.
Oh boy.
All right, let's move it on to some WoW news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening with the news for raiders around the World of Warcraft. And first up, we have some kind of big news because there was something that happened with the last patch, and they updated some things and spun some things around, and then they took a bunch of stuff, and then they went, all right, we're just going to put that in the garbage can. And that had to do with normal mode raiding. Hellfire Citadel is now nerfed normally. Tattva, you seem to be the guy who knows a lot about the Hellfire Citadel. What actually happened with all of the things that were nerfed for normals?
I mean, it's just like a normal thing that seems like Blizzard does as the raid cycle goes on, just to give people more access. But I mean, from all the nerfs, it just seems like they're trying to take away the personal accountability. Like, it's going to be a lot harder for you to screw up and then wipe your entire raid. Seems like most of the changes to all the fights took away that aspect, kind of.
Well, is that it though? Because I mean, really, we're looking at a lot of different things here. I mean, we're looking at some of the mechanics are now single target versus AoE. Some of them were taken out altogether, and some of them were nerfed kind of into the ground.
I mean, that's what I mean by it, though, is that like they took the specific abilities that, if handled improperly, could destroy the entire raid, and like, so that personal responsibility for the normal modes is kind of reduced, and really, so I mean. They're just making it a safer raid. You still, I mean, you still have to execute things and stuff, but
and really, I mean, this thing has been out since June, so I mean, it's October now. If you haven't cleared it in normals by now, this is your push to go do it, right? So, is there anything that stood out to you, Darius, as you look at this stuff?
No, I mean, I really like the idea that normal was mechanically practiced for heroics. So I'm not a big fan of them taking out mechanics like this. I thought making normals a much easier version of heroics was a really good idea. This feels like a more LFR than anything else. Honestly, I don't think I've done LFR in Hellfire Citadel, so I don't even know how difficult that is. But I'm not a big fan of them removing mechanics altogether. Nerfing them would have been fine, but straight up removing some of the mechanics, I don't think they should have done it.
Well, let me tell you, LFR. But a little story about LFR recently. I went in to go do Archimond because he was finally available, and I'm like, sure, why not? Let's go in there LFR and see what happens. And then I was met with chat that said, okay, let's get our buff to 4, and then we can start trying this thing. I went, oh, crap. It's going to be one of those deals.
Clever use of game mechanics.
So I was just like, oh, really? Come on. So LFR is still painful. Still painful for many, many ways.
Well, that means you could go and make yourself some coffee or something. Let the rest of the group wipe the raid 4 times and then go back and give it a shot.
And then wait for new tanks and new DPS and new heals that drop along the way. And it's a good thing that I said, okay, we're just doing this one thing. I'll give myself like an hour.
You read all the interesting profanity.
And I think we were done in like 45 minutes, so it was okay. It's horrible. Horrible stuff. Shark, I know that you haven't been raiding too much.
That's correct. But I'm starting a new normal raid.
Yes.
So this affects me directly.
So what's your opinion?
I have to, unfortunately and surprisingly, agree with Darius. I am not a fan of the huge nerfs. I don't mind nerfing, and like you were saying earlier, if you haven't cleared normals yet, then here's your chance. I feel like if you haven't cleared normals yet, you're probably not playing anymore. Sure. I might be wrong about that, but it's been out for a very long time.
Sure.
Or you might be struggling finding a raid team or whatever that.
Or you're just super cash or whatever.
I have maybe super casual, and that's totally cool. I have a solution for those of you struggling to find a raid team. But yeah, I agree with Darius. I starting my raid team. It's going to be a 1 night a week, casual progression guild, similar to what Asparagus Initiative used to be.
Sure.
We're not going to be banging our head against the walls. We're there to have fun, but we're there to progress. The problem with this is you get in and you learn mechanics for 1 difficulty, and then you say, let's bump that difficulty up. I'm expecting my raid to have some pulls on heroic before the end of the expansion, to clear through normals and to start moving up into heroic. Well, now we have to relearn the raids or learn them right the first time, but they're so easy. I mean, it's just too much different. Like I was saying, like Darius said, I liked that normals was an easier version of heroic, but it was the same strats. It was the same things. It was a better stepping stone. Where now they're making these steps so much bigger. Where LFR is a joke, this is seems to be a little bit more difficult than LFR, and then you've got a big leap to heroic, and then a huge leap to mythic.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if I really like exactly what they're doing. Maybe they're trying something out, a new style of normal. I hope not. I hope when they bring the new raids out and the new content, if they continue with this same LFR normal heroic mythic, that they go back to where normal and heroic are the same thing. But I don't know. I'm a little about it. But at least the good news is we should be clearing this much faster and then jumping into heroic.
Right.
Maybe my team's going to be a heroic team and not a normal team.
Right. And just so you guys know, I mean, there are 6 bosses that were affected out of the group. Kilrog, Hellfire, High Council, Gorefiend, Velhari, Zul, and Archimond. And there were certain elements that were just kind of taken out because they didn't make any sense. They were getting nerfed into the ground anyway. And they said, well, instead of nerfing it into the ground, let's just take it out because it doesn't, because it makes no sense at that point. Why dodge stuff? Why say dodge stuff if you don't really need to dodge stuff? But actually, Watcher actually responded to this. Ian Hasekostas responded to all of this stuff and said as much. And I will say that my opinion of this, while I don't like seeing anything taken away from normal players, from players that have been playing for a long time, and I don't like to see like these raid-wide nerfs at all, I actually kind of like where this is going. because I think I think that normals should be on some certain level. You keep on adding mechanics, you keep on adding these things, you keep on making it tougher and tougher and tougher, and make normal different from heroic, different from mythic. I think that is okay, and that provides some kind of flavor for those guys that are going around and starting off at normals and trying to progress through heroics. It gives them something more to look forward to, and maybe even kind of brings more of a tail into the rating scheme of things, into the rating world. We always talk about that tail, about how you're trying to chase loot or trying to chase, achievements or trying to whatever it is. You're trying to make it all the way through the expansion, and this is the way that we can kind of elongate that tail a little bit and make it more interesting for players along the way. Maybe. Obviously, we'll have to see what ends up happening, but
yeah, I think it's an interesting. Oh,
go ahead. Oh,
I was going to say, I think it's an interesting. It seems to be an experiment to me. It seems to be something like, well, and I mean, I know this is things that have happened in the past, but in the past, we've not had abilities leave, to my knowledge. It's just been health and damage nerfed 20% or something like that, right? And at least back in the day when I was raiding and pugging around and stuff, I'm like, oh yay, I can complete the raid now.
Right.
When I was in my super cash days, but. Yeah.
But we didn't have flex back then either, right? So
no, we didn't have flex, and it would have been a completely different story. Than I will sing Flex's praises all day long,
right?
For a lot of different reasons. It brings some problems with it as well, but I mean, I love the fact that I got people on my team that say I might not be able to make it every Saturday. Is that cool? And I'm like, that's totally cool.
Yeah,
we just want to play with you when you can.
Yep.
So, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Tattva, you've had to do all of these different. Well, I guess maybe not in all the different difficulties. Making your 2-minute videos.
Yeah.
But do you think that normals were tougher than what Flex was when Siege of Orgrimmar came out? You know what I mean? Do you think that normals now versus Flex then, which is essentially the same difficulty? Was it as difficult, or is it more difficult than it was in previous expansions? In the previous expansion,
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to tell, just because like I've always rated at that.
Yeah, you rated a fairly high level.
Well, not high. I've never been a high level rater, but yeah, no. I would say it's with the nerf, it's probably a little bit easier. But I mean, like you were saying, like I understand, like. With normal, they want to build you the foundation of the fight. And then when you go into heroic, it's it's a step higher. You add a couple more abilities. And then with mythic, you add a couple more. It seems like a more natural thing. But I don't know if like the 4 different levels of difficulty are necessary. And we can't put that normal heroic tag on our videos anymore. If we want to make normal videos, we have to make normal videos. I don't know.
Now you got to make new videos. Are you going to make new videos? We actually had a question saying, are you going to make new videos because of the changes?
We won't go back and retrofit anything as far as like normal things go. Like I mean, we put a lot of work into our things, like way too much. We put way more editing than we need to into our videos, but yeah, no, it'll be an interesting thing. Like we're moving on to other things. We have other things in the works or whatever. So we don't want to just be the, those are the strat guys channel anymore. We have some other ideas that we're going to be moving forward. But yeah.
Good. But, that's awesome.
Yeah. As far as normal difficulties, I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Now, Darius, Huh. What now?
What?
Am I bothering you? Are you watching the game? Is this what's going
No.
on?
Oh, Yank's doing.
I thought I'd give you a little heads up that I was coming to you.
Oh boy.
But I mean, as far as this stuff goes, what does this mean anything for players? I guess should people that are playing at higher difficulties be get all ragey about now normals? Are normals now being the what was it? The casual mode of everything now? Is it going to be like LFR essentially, or what?
I don't think so. I mean, people that are playing at a high level don't even have to worry about this. They might clear normals once.
Sure.
When the content first comes out that first day to try to get a trinket or a tier piece or something like that.
What did Ghostcrawler call LFR mode? They're going to be
tourist mode.
Tourist mode. So is normals going to be the new tourist mode?
I don't think so. I mean, this is how many months into this tier being out that they added these nerfs? This wasn't from the beginning, so I think this is just natural progression. We normally see a nerf for a damage decrease, or in Wrath we saw damage increase, that kind of stuff. I think this is just the along that same vein. I don't think anybody should really have to worry about this all that much.
And Watcher did respond, and he said that, essentially there are 3 different kinds of groups in World of Warcraft. There's the very casual friends and family guilds. There's the more advanced group that really wants to kind of knock it out of the park with heroics and maybe start to get into some mythic stuff. And then there's hardcore among all hardcore, and they're doing mythic, and they start basically just clearing hard modes right away and just stay there the entire time. And they're really trying to hit everybody. So Shark, do you think that this does it? Do you think that these changes do it, or do you think that they needed to do this, or what?
I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily. I understand, like I said, and that's why I think that this is an experiment that they're trying. It's the correct time in the game cycle, at the end of an expansion, to do something like this, to try something new. And the way he explains it is that he wants all 3 to be different. He doesn't want normal mode to be heroic mode with smaller numbers.
Right.
Which I respect, and I understand that. I liked it the way it was, but that's a personal preference.
Right.
And just right now in the cycle where I'm at as a raider, starting something new, I don't know. Maybe my team will be a good test on this, so we start learning it one way and then have to add new mechanics for heroic and go on. We'll see,
right.
But it makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly if the friends and family guilds, a lot of times they just don't get together to form raid groups. They just like to get online and play together, and sometimes go into LFR together. At least when I was in a friends and family guild, that was a lot of what we did. But maybe this gives them the opportunity, making the material easier to. I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, and if any of you guys out there have an opinion about what all these nerfs mean for normals or whatever, just you can feel free to write into the show, convert28@gmail.com. You can call our raid line 612-787-RAID, or Twitter things. Sure. You can do it that way too. That's fine. I think we should probably move on, though. It's interesting, and I think that if they would have started out with this, that maybe it would have made more sense. I don't know. Instead of taking away from people, just starting it and saying, hey, guess what? We're doing 4 different levels instead of 6 different levels, 2 of which are 10 and 25 things, whatever. Anyway, we'll see exactly where this goes. All right, let's continue on. And we will note that the in-game shop has expanded so that you can do appearance changes, faction changes, name changes, race changes, and so on. Of course, you can still do the boost to 90, which will soon be 100. But that leads to a question. And for this one, I'm going to give it up to somebody else, probably Darius, because it keeps him from watching the game. Darius,
what?
Can you read this question from Nick?
Says, my guild has made friends with another guild. We met through the group finder and have been raiding through Hellfire Citadel and having a total blast. We are making good progress on heroics, just Manaroth and Archimon to go. The 2 groups of people have really clicked, and we have tons of fun. I want it to continue. This is literally the best raid group I've ever been in. Here's the problem. We want to be in the same guild, and at the moment, it's going to be prohibitively expensive. Moving one toon isn't too bad, but almost all of us have 3 or 4 toons that we want to play. That is a big ask. 17 pounds, 20 euros per toon. I don't know what those.
Well, they're European. I mean, it really gets
talk.
their money.
Many of our guildies simply can't afford it. Starting from scratch on a new realm is a non-starter too. I've got 4 level 100s. I can't do that grind again. And even with the 100 boosts that will come in Legion. Honestly, I don't even know how Blizzard can charge anything. We already pay a sub. Fair enough. Have some rules and restrictions, but seems like daylight robbery. We could have a beautiful thing here, but there's a huge obstacle.
Right. So, guys, fellas, what do you think about where we're at with all of these different player services? Shark, let's start with you. What do you think about this stuff?
I actually went through a phase where I server transferred and faction transferred like 1,000 times before I joined CTR. I was in a small guild on one server. We decided to move to a different server so that we could grow our guild because that server was basically dead. So all of us got together. We all chipped in our $40. I
Life
think
savings.
it was at the time. Yeah. And to server change. I don't think it was quite 40. It was, 25 just a server change, something like that, and 50 to do both, something like that. And then that didn't really work. So CTR came around, and I ended up transferring again, and then transferring another. I know, right?
Yeah. No,
it's all Derry's fault. It was this show that got me to join.
I hear you. And actually, we can blame Solar Flare for that one.
Yeah, that's
actually
true.
We should blame Solar Flare because here's what ended up happening with that. So Solar Flare said, "Hey, let's play Alliance," and I said, "Yeah, and it would be great to move off the server." That was my only thing. I was like, let's just find our own home, right? And so Solar was like, "Oh, but this would be a great chance to play Alliance." And I go, "But I have 10 toons, Horde side, Earthen Ring."
And it's $25 a pop to switch to the other side.
It was $55 or I don't remember exactly what it was, but I mean, it was a lot of dough, right? For each character.
Oh, yeah. And I feel your pain. And this is on living in my mom's basement salary. So it was a really, really, really rough time for me. Because I did it a few times, but I think on one side, Blizzard's a business, and Blizzard offers these services, wants to discourage people from using them too often, and so they offer the services, but at a rate, right? You have to pay for the services.
Sure.
Part of that is to add revenue. Part of that is going to be also to detract people from doing it over and over and over again.
Sure. Makes sense.
But at the same time, I also understand his point with it being a sub game. A lot of games that go free to play or go pick to play have services that you can pay for, or if you have the sub, it's included in your service. So maybe a service fire or a realm transfer once a year, or something like that you can do where you can save it up and get a free one.
Once a year is all you get.
Sure, but at the same time, I mean, Blizzard is making money off of that. I don't know exactly how much money they're making.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I know they made plenty from me. A lot more than my 15 a month, that's for sure.
And Derry's bought the hats. Remember those?
Hats. Oh my God, hats. He still wears them too.
He's wearing them right now. You just can't tell.
Yeah. But
I think his video froze up, but whatever.
Yeah. But I don't know what the answer is. Don't know what the answer is. I think that I think I don't think Blizzard's going to do anything changing it, but
sure. Tattva, how about you, sir?
Yeah, I personally I would have to go on and check, but I'm probably getting close to at least $1,000 on paid services for this game.
Yeah,
easy.
Sure.
I mean, it's been 10 years, but yeah, easy. But I mean, as far like we were talking about it a little in Discord earlier today, just about maybe an answer, like kind of a quick fix. I know it's nice being in the same guild and stuff, but I mean, the way that you guys have all set up the CTR guild and stuff with the daughter guilds and then that green wall. add on.
Yeah, we were talking about this. So we have actually kind of this cool thing that we've been starting to use, and it's called Discord, and it's an app that is both for your PC or Mac and your smartphone, and it does chat and voice, which is cool. So it's called Discord, Discord. And you were checking in on Greenwall. Is that right, Tattva?
Yeah. I looked up. It was a little confusing as far as like what the answer was, but it seems like Greenwall will work on servers that are connected. I guess some time ago they connected a bunch of servers. There's a link that said which servers were connected, but I mean, it sounds like these people are European, and so I think they have a better chance of actually being connected. Like their servers are actually connected, and Greenwall works over it. They just need to make some additional tweaks to it and stuff, but there's instructions within the Greenwall website and all that kind of stuff. So I think it probably would work.
Sure. So Greenwall could work. We have Discord could work for at least, I mean, for like bridging the gap, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about bridging the gap between two guilds that obviously don't feel like they can transfer their tunes over to one side or the other, but still want to play together. And that's kind of, it's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to play together. They're clicking along, man. You know, that's good.
It's absolutely frustrating, and it's detracting from people's gameplay sometimes, because they really do want to play with each other. And at least they have had the cross realm system come about. At least they have, you can play with anybody on any realm, as long as you're the same faction, in at least normal or heroic raids. That's something that has definitely added to us being, because back in the day, if you were not on that realm, you couldn't even talk to the other person. There was no battle net, you know? So they have really come leaps and bounds from where we were. But it's still, I mean, you want to be in the same guild. Someone's going to have to fork it over, or everyone starts over anew from another guild. And, that's a frustrating choice to have to make. I understand where he's coming from.
Yep. Darius, anything from you?
No, I think you guys covered it. I mean, it's a tough choice, and there are some tools out there that might help, but nothing's going to be the same as just being in the same guild, because once you guys hit Mythics, you're going to hit a real problem.
Right on.
So. Yeah,
Mythic is a different beast. So if you're going to go Mythic, there's cash that needs to be forked over at that point.
And it sounds like they're almost there.
You can't get to it, so all right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you guys, and hopefully some of that stuff will help. And yes, there is a lot of money being made with all the different player services that are now even more available in-game. All right, here we go with the BattleNet news. All right, when we can, we'll take a look at the big headlines around the rest of the Blizzard universe. And first up, Shark, I think you have been playing StarCraft 2. Is that correct?
I played a little bit of StarCraft 2 today, yeah.
And it seems that there's a bunch of new stuff, actually.
Yeah, new user interface. It's interesting. It's a lot of fun. I didn't play a whole lot before, but I was in there in general chat, but it's going nuts. This is so cool looking, and I just can't wait for Legacy of the Void to come out. I love the storyline in StarCraft so much. That's why I play. I am not a competitive player. I am terrible PvP. But I love playing through the storyline. I like playing my movies. So
I like playing my movies.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Daddy's stories. I'm sitting there watching Daddy's stories, but I'm playing through them.
But we have all new UI, 3 Whispers of Oblivion missions.
The pre-missions. I was playing through those today, yeah.
And we also have 64-bit version of SC2, and we also have this is just on the website essentially, but it's the short story. They've been doing a bunch of short stories because they've got this deal with Random House Books now. So they're building up all their stories, and they've been putting those online as well. Very cool stuff. Tattva, what do you think about all this stuff? Have you seen it? Have you played around with it a little bit?
Yeah, like I basically ordered pre-ordered Legacy of the Void as soon as it was available. Played those 3 intro missions a while ago. Like, I mean, one of the main reasons I fell in love with Blizzard games was just their cinematics. Like, they've always been top notch. Like, from way back in the day, from like Warcraft 3 and all those things. It was just always so cool. You know, you play a couple missions, then all of a sudden you get the cinematic, and it's just like great. And so, I mean, I love the cinematics that WoW puts out before, you know, those teaser trailers and stuff and all that stuff. But the cool thing with StarCraft is it feeds them to you throughout the course of an entire campaign, and like they always just look amazing. And it's cool to finally hear the Protoss story, get some more action with Zeratul. And moving forward, I've played quite a bit of the new, just of the, like, because it's only PvP available, and then those 3 intro missions. But I don't know, I mean, there's some cool new units that you can use, and one of the cool new game types is called Archon.
Mm-hmm.
But basically what that does is 2 people control 1 army.
Oh, and yeah.
So you could, like, say like Shark, he doesn't like playing PvP very much, and or just like if I had a friend that wasn't familiar with the game, mm-hmm. I could take them in there with a game, you know, as my teammate, and like I could be doing the macro, you know, just building the base, building the units, and basically feeding them an army. And like, okay, here's some units, go take them, mess around with them, see what they do, all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know, it's kind of a cool little new game
that's
type.
The only way that I could really play.
Yeah, I was going to say honest. That sounds that would get me into the game.
That
if somebody
sounds
was good
pretty
at it.
amazing. It's kind of like any of those esports. I mean, any of those team sports, right? I mean, if you get in as a team, you can and you're communicating and things are working well. I mean, that's really, it can be a really fun time for everybody. So,
yeah, I mean, it will be a competitive thing, but I think it's also going to be an awesome teaching tool. Like, I mean, of course, there's going to be like people who are, you know, 2 really good players that are going after another team, you know, of, you know, 2 really good players. But just as far as like, you know, you can watch videos and try to learn how to play the game and, you know, learn different builds and stuff. But it's one thing being there present in a game and like just every second counts, and like just you get lost, you know, in, you know, watching videos, and eventually you'll learn. But it's just going to be awesome to have someone, like if you have a friend that knows how to play, like to actually be in the game with them, actually be able to help out a little bit, but just to see what they do, see the builds that they're, you know, and just see how the game flows a little bit better, instead of just sitting in your base going, oh yeah, I'm doing awesome, and then all of a sudden this army comes in and wipes you out, and you're just like, oh, wait a second.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool though. I mean, that's really amazing, and I'm glad that they've built all these improvements into the game, and that's really cool, and it's kind of nice to see them trying to breathe some life. But Darius, as you said at the beginning of the show, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot of interest at TwitchCon anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe there was something else going on with that. Do you think?
It's an intimidating game. It's definitely an intimidating game.
It always has been for me.
I think a lot of it is now. It was one of Blizzard's only competitive online game for the longest time. And people kind of look at it and they say, well, if I can't be as good as the best players, I'm not going to try. So people are devoting those cycles that they would have had to maybe Heroes of the Storm or Hearthstone or something like that. Something where you can kind of get in more on the ground floor.
Sure.
Than StarCraft. So without the single player experience being at TwitchCon or any of that kind of stuff, I think people kind of passed over it. Because anyone that's going to play it now, I think, is just mostly looking for it for the single player.
Right on. In the other games, Overwatch, not much happened. Diablo, nothing really. Hearthstone, it's available in Japan. Great. Perfect. That's awesome. And then we have Heroes. And Heroes actually had quite a bit of stuff happen to it lately, too. Who is the big Heroes player other than Shark? Anybody? All right, Tattva, I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you go first then.
I raised my hand on a podcast.
Nice work. Nice work.
Thanks for good audio.
So we have a bunch of different stuff going on. We have Lieutenant Morales. We have new stuff from the latest patch. Actually has a bunch of stuff. And we also have, some other stuff that I'll probably get into when we talk to actually both you and Shark, because you can unlock Artanis with Legacy of the Void, right? Tattva,
it's not available yet, I don't think.
Right, but I mean, you can unlock him now with your Legacy of the Void pre-purchase, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you played Lieutenant Morales at all?
I've played against her.
How'd that go?
Yeah, I'm kind of low on gold right now, so I don't have enough to buy her yet. But I don't know. She seems like she's going to be a pretty strong healer. As far as like, it seems like she does a really good job of keeping like that one target up. Like it's if you're playing that game and you try to kill the person that she's healing, just you can just like surrender at that point and then just start a new match. But yeah, like I mean, you have to take it to her. Like I mean, other healers, like they're a high priority target, but it seems like she does a really good job. I mean, who knows how she's going to get nerfed and stuff, but her medevac drop thing is awesome. That's an awesome ability. She basically like, I mean, it's a StarCraft 2 character, and so she goes up into the little spaceship, the medevac thing, and then other people can hop in, and then she can zoom across the map and drop them off. It's going to create
wherever you want.
It's going to be some interesting comps based off of her and that ability. It's going to be cool.
That could be cool. So Shark, do you think it's going to throw your game off a little bit? Is it going to throw the meta like totally under the bus, or what's going on?
I don't know if it throws the meta. I mean, she makes some characters, auto attack characters, are going to be a lot stronger. You're going to see with her if she takes the stim drone ability rather than medevac. Medevac is going to be really interesting for team fights. I don't know exactly. For example, having her on Garden, I think it's Garden of Terror that has the 2 bosses. That's not Garden of Terror. Is that Garden of Terror?
No, it's the
Curse Hollow.
Okay.
But it has the 2 bosses. You can take their team down, kill your boss, and then medevac over to kill their boss, and they don't have time to respond to it. Things like that. But at the same time, that's going to be an obvious play too, and maybe they'll be there to counter it. So, but she seems really interesting, and like I said, really could be really strong. I'm even thinking like her and Abathur on a team together with someone like the Butcher or Illidan.
Ooh.
I mean, that makes that assassin a tank.
Yeah.
So it could be, and then do it something similar to what Na'Vi did, Butcher Falstead, and then having Abathur and her on that Butcher, keeping him out in front.
That Butcher Falstead man was amazing. That was just so cool.
It's a lot of fun.
That was so cool.
But yeah, new stuff. I love Heroes of the Storm because you get new stuff every month. Like it's just so. It's what we all want WoW to be in that aspect, right? We want new stuff, new stuff, new stuff, new stuff.
And I don't know if you've seen the Artanis stuff, but Artanis looks really cool, super powerful. Really had some interesting moves, and one where he like switches positions with the person that he's up against, and so it really kind of makes positioning kind of a big deal, and so yeah, it's really weird. And Darius, have you probably haven't because you were at work today, and they just put this in today. But did you check out the try mode updates that they've had? Have you seen these?
Not yet.
All right.
No.
All right.
I saw the articles on it, but no, I haven't. I just got back from work when we started.
Who can tell Darius about the try mode experience as it stands right now? What's the latest update, guys?
The big news is the target dummy in try mode, and I really enjoyed. And they also added camps to it. I jumped in actually with Morales to play around with her a little bit. I haven't bought her yet, but I tried her in try mode, and it's really cool. I mean, it just it makes it to where you can actually, because before you would just be laning in one lane against Arthas, and there was no. It was kind of hard to really try your abilities out to see how much, but having something like a dummy that doesn't die and you can use all of your abilities, maybe you need to have try some sustain abilities, but Arthas dies so fast, especially when you get higher levels.
Sure.
I think it'll be a lot more useful for people that actually want to you're going to get the information out of the character that you need before you're able to purchase it and use it in game. Well, so I think it's great.
And like the siege camps and bruiser camps and stuff like that too, it'll kind of give you a heads up on to when you feel like you might be able to take that camp solo.
Right.
Well.
At what level can you solo? And Heroes is they're adding a lot more jungly type characters, especially Rexxar was one that came out that is can be a very huge jungler. So
right.
Yeah, you need to be able to practice on that if you're going to try him. Like, what's the big deal about Rexxar? Well,
right.
Before this, there wasn't one in try mode.
Yeah, and I was kind of pissed too because Lieutenant Morales on the PTR, which was out. I think they've taken it down since it released. But when it was out, you still had to buy Lieutenant Morales. You said with money, with actual money.
Yeah, you don't get to play it free.
So if you're like a theory crafter, you have to buy these heroes on the PTR to be able to play them and to examine them and to quote unquote test them. And that doesn't sound like a testing proposition anymore. That sounds like, oh no, I'm just going to buy it. Screw it. But
to clarify, you do have to buy the hero.
Yeah.
But you also get that hero live when it comes out.
I know. It's just that the PTR is supposed to be a player test realm. No, it's not supposed to be a player buys this so that they can have it later realm. It's not
agree.
that.
Yeah. No, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that we're clarifying. You don't have to buy it twice.
Right.
You only pay for it once.
Thankfully,
but you have to, and I'm pretty sure you can't use gold for that either. I think you have to buy with money.
It was only money on the PTR. Now you can buy it for 15,000 gold. But
you can still comes out. Yeah.
But I will say them improving the try mode is actually a big, huge thing when it comes to really selecting these heroes, and you can actually. It's a lot more flexible than what we're talking about too, because you can select on and off Malfurion, right? And have him come into the picture if you want him or not. Doesn't really.
Or
matter.
you can. Or the other thing is I think it was before you had your minions and your ally, and now you can do your minions or your ally to see how good you're a solo laner. It'll be cool.
Right. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
So you can check it out. Check out all the try mode stuff on the new Heroes of the Storm patch. Any other thoughts on the patch? New patch? Anything? Okay. Well, then we'll move on, and we'll move on to the end of the show. Wait, hold on a sec. I forgot to mention our sponsor. I forgot to mention our sponsor this week. And this week's sponsor is Pumpkin Spice. There we go.
Did you break the show again?
So there. Probably.
With your pumpkin spice?
Probably.
Spice.
I might have.
Really?
Pumpkin spice. Yes. So, all right. Now we'll move on. Some of this stuff. And we'll talk about 5-star reviews from iTunes. Darius, what do we have from iTunes?
We have, this week, we have Elements Aside, Mosher Your DB, Neil G, and Jay Gillick.
Easy for you to say.
Man.
Easier names, folks. We need easier names. But thank you so much for all of your 5-star reviews on iTunes. Thanks for all your shout-outs on Stitcher as well, and for all of your comments on YouTube, which have been phenomenal as well. Any shout-outs this week here, fellas? Anybody?
I have a few. I have something that I've been meaning the last couple times to be on here. I have gotten a lot of tweets from people just sharing some Twitter love for me being on the show, and I wanted to thank Drew Bob Miller, Bob Ledsinger, Hogeye CTR, Brewmaster for Win, MB Going, Shield Spec, Execute Phase, and Brandon T. Sanders. Guys, thanks so much for your tweet love. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the best.
Well, that's amazing. We do, and you do have some pretty amazing fans. And
well,
pretty
I do what
great,
I can.
Pretty awesome supporters out there, and thank you so much for all that you guys do to support the show. Thanks for the 5 stars on iTunes. Anybody else have shout-outs before I move on? All right, I'll move on. And we cannot do this show without you guys. Thanks for taking the time to rate us and all that kind of jazz and comments and blah blah blah. So now I'm gonna bail out of this and I'm gonna play this. There we go. Just gonna jump right into it. Screw it. If you want to get a hold of us for any reason, and by the way, thanks you guys, Tattva, Shark, Berries, you guys always make this show amazing in your own special way. In your own special way.
Are you calling me special?
Pumpkin,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Pumpkin spice.
Oh yeah.
Pumpkin spice is all I'm saying. All right, you guys out there, if you want to talk to us, it's real easy. You can email us at converttораid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttораid or individually, isn't that right, Darius?
You can follow Pat Crane. He is at Pat Crane. That's with a K. You can follow me. I'm at Boardmine. You can follow Tattva at LOS_gaming.
Correct.
And Sharku is Mima CTR.
at Mima CTR. No, it's
You guys are so wrong.
it's at Sharku_CTR. We all know this.
Oh.
We all know this. It's fine. You can also join the Bazooka Goblin Nation by heading over to converttораid.com, where we have show downloads, forums, videos, audios, and so much more for all of your viewing pleasure. It's all over converttораid.com. Guild stuff, too.
So much yelling.
I know. For the live show, you can always head over to converttораid.com/live. And we're also live streaming on Alpha Geek Radio, all that kind of good stuff. The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends on the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. It's a lot of talking. All right, guys, we're into the final stretch. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining us, Tattva, Shark, Darius, and for all the guys in the live stream. Thank you guys for suffering through our live stream. It means the world to us. And you can always join us on our live show Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Central. And for all the guys that Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
I'm not waving.
You should. Wave, Darius,
I won't do
wave. Wait, hold on a sec. I'll take it back. Wave, Darius. Oh,
No,
I can totally see your green screen.